Dear friends, my topic is Vedantic way to happiness and peace. All of us are in search of happiness and peace. The modern man is in search of happiness and peace. So much so that happiness industry is the 5th largest industry in the world today. You know, the workshop on happiness, workshop for getting happiness, and so many types of programs. That counts 5th largest industry now it has become. Can you imagine how much they are in need? Happiness and peace. And the number of suicides increasing, the number of depression, the type of the depression increasing, in particularly the youth. This is one way. We are having development on science and technology on one way, and receding from happiness and peace. Actually, we should have more and more happiness and peace as the technology advances. But why it is the reverse journey? It is because of that, we have got an equation in our mind that H is directly proportional to M, where H is equal to happiness and M is equal to money. Now the sociologists and psychologists have discovered this curve is not like that. It goes like that and then it goes down. That is hyperbolic. That is, the more money you get, the more happiness. For some stage, once the basic needs of a person are fulfilled, then the curve goes down. More money, more unhappiness, more tension. This is what the psychologists and the sociologists have discovered, that law. And this consumerism has come in a big way, because of which we find people are losing happiness and going towards all these. So many books are being published on suicide and all that. All that trend is coming because of consumerism. Erich Fromm said man has become a commodity. He thinks himself like a commodity and sells himself like a commodity. You see now, the cricket players are also being sold. So many people are being sold. In India, even the brides are being sold, bridegrooms are being sold. So, this man has become a commodity, consumerism. And Oxford Dictionary has now added one more word. What is the word? Affluenza. Not influenza. We get influenza sometimes. This is affluenza. It comes to only affluent people. Don't worry. And this has come. And so in America, the parents have started affluenza resistant society to protect their children from this affluenza, because affluenza means the more things you get, the more you become dissatisfied, then you become prey of neurosis, then drug addiction, and then suicide. So they take the children at the weekend to the countryside and tell them, here they have got only one car, you have got 3 cars, and still you are just dissatisfied and all that. Now, so many efforts are being done to have happiness and peace, but they are not getting it. Why? Because they are searching at a wrong place. There was an old woman, she was crying. Then a gentleman asked, what is the matter? I lost my needle and I'm not getting it back. Why do you worry? Why do you cry? I'll help you. He also tried, he couldn't get it. Then suddenly he had a tube light in his mind. Where did you lose it? Inside that room. Huh? And you are searching here outside? Oh, there is darkness there and here is the light, so I am searching here. This is the story of all of us. We are the source of infinite joy, infinite happiness is within inside all of us. That is what Vedanta says. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudo atmana prakashate drishyate tagraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhi. Inside each and every human being, there is that Atman, the source of infinite joy. And its very nature is Satchit Ananda. Infinite existence, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss. That is our birthright. But we are searching in the latest model mobiles, latest model cars, and latest model houses. Do we get happiness? Yes, we get it. But it doesn't stay. The moment our neighbor gets another model of car, our happiness is gone. It's temporary happiness. But the source of infinite joy, infinite happiness is within that. So Vedanta says, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yu Vidhati Kaman Tam Atmastham Yenu Pashanti Dhira Tesham Shanti Shashwati Netaresham. Who will get that eternal peace? One who will try to discover the Supreme Self within the Self, who is always there within you, the source of infinite joy and infinite happiness. But how to get that? At present, we are not having that realization. Why? Because there is a covering. There is a covering of ignorance. So we have to remove that covering. How to remove that covering? Swami Vivekananda gave the gist of the whole of Vedanta in one paragraph of Raj Yoga. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal of human life is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work or worship, psychic control or philosophy, by one or more or all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion. Doctrines, dogmas, rituals, temples, worship, churches, mosques are but secondary details. So these 4 yogas, Raj Yoga, meditation, Bhakti Yoga, prayer, Gyan Yoga, inspirational reading, and 4th is Karma Yoga, unselfish service. All this combinedly will give you the source of infinite joy, infinite happiness. The covering will be removed. The beauty is that it will not come in a day. That covering, as it goes on, as it is being uncovered, more and more happiness, leading you to infinite happiness. So the process itself gives you happiness and peace in everyday life. Once you start meditating, once you start praying, once you start doing unselfish service. So much so for the individual happiness and peace. What about the happiness for the world? What about the happiness at the macro level? There also, the second principle of Vedanta. Basically, there are 2 principles of Vedanta. The whole of Vedanta can be summarized into 2 principles. Number 1, the divinity of the soul. Number 2, the solidarity of the whole universe. Where Vedanta says the particular absolute is beyond time, space and causation, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss. The same absolute is permeating the whole universe. Isha vasamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tattena bhunjitha mahagrita kasya. That supreme consciousness is permeating the whole world, inside each and every particle. And that has been now proved by the modern quantum mechanics, where it has been told that it's a holistic universe. And that has been proved scientifically. And that is why Schrodinger says consciousness is a singular of which the plural is unknown. Now that concept takes us to Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. Whatever was told in Veda, in Upanishads, is now being verified by the modern quantum mechanics. It is one universal consciousness permeating the whole world. What follows? You and I are not separate. If I rob you, I am robbing myself. If I hit you, I am hitting myself. If I love you, I am loving myself. If I serve you, I am serving myself. So here we get the philosophy of the rationality. Why should I serve others? Why should I be moral? That Vedanta gives because of this principle of solidarity of the whole universe. I will end by just an example, a concrete example. At present, the world is suffering. There is about 5% of the people are very rich, very, very rich. They are having 90% of the wealth and they cannot go to bed without tranquilizers. They are not having peace of mind. On the other hand, about 40% of people they also cannot have sleep because they don't have any food. Now, Vedanta says combine both. How? If these 5% people, they try to serve these 40% people, both of them will get peace. This is double faida, double advantage. How? Because when that minority of the people having so much of wealth, they start serving the people, what happens? They get peace of mind. Why? Because of the Vedantic principle of solidarity of the whole universe. And these people, they get the things, they also get the peace. This was explained by Swami Vivekananda when he went to World Parliament Religion in 1893. He stayed on for 3.5 years in USA and Europe. 1894, I'm talking about the incident which is 1894. That time the richest person of the world was John D. Rockefeller. He was in Chicago, and that time he was passing through a very bad phase. His hair had gone, he had become bald, he was emaciated, and he was under tremendous depression. At that time somebody said, why don't you go to an Indian yogi who has come and get counseling from him? Rockefeller said, what? I to go to a beggar for getting advice? No, I will not go. You say we are all beggars, we are monks, we live on charity. I will not go to a beggar, he said. Actually, he was the richest person, so he had that ego. He didn't go. But one fine morning, suddenly he went to the place where Swamiji was staying. He called the bell. The butler opened the door. He went inside. Swamiji was not in his drawing room. So without being announced, he went to the study room. Now Swamiji, as you know, he had tremendous power of concentration. He was very much absorbed in his study. He didn't notice Rockefeller coming. Rockefeller stood for some time and then he knocked at the table. Then Swamiji looked up. Rockefeller said, "I am Rockefeller." Then Swamiji asked, "What do you want?" Now Rockefeller was not prepared for this type of treatment. Rockefeller means the President of America would get up. And here is the fellow, the beggar, sitting and asking me, "What do you want?" He became very much annoyed. "I don't want anything." Then Swamiji asked, "Then why have you come?" Now he had come without invitation, so he had no reply. Then Swami Vivekananda said, "My dear Rockefeller, I know why you have come. You have come here because you do not have peace of mind." And then he started narrating many incidents from the life of Rockefeller which no one else knew except Rockefeller. Then he became very much perturbed. "How do you come to know? How did you come to know all these secrets? Who has told you?" Swamiji smiled and said, "Do you think it is necessary somebody should tell me? I can see through your mind as I can see through a glass shelf." Then Rockefeller was perturbed. My God, he has come to know all the secrets. Then Swami Vivekananda said, "My dear Rockefeller, I will give you a piece of advice. Remember, you are not the owner of your wealth. You are only a custodian of your wealth given to you by God. Utilize this money for removing the sufferings of millions of people. Immediately you will get peace of mind. There is no other way by which you can get peace of mind." Rockefeller became very much annoyed. "How dare you advise me like that?" And he left abruptly as he had come. But after a few days again he came. Similar fashion, called the bell. The butler opened the door. He went inside. Swamiji was not drawing room, so he went to the study room. And Swamiji was absorbed. So he again knocked at the table. Then Swamiji looked up. Then Rockefeller put a piece of paper in which he had made an announcement of a very huge donation for a public cause. When Swamiji read it, Rockefeller said, "Now you must thank me. I have followed your advice." Swamiji said, "Well, it is for you to thank me." Because by following this advice, you will get peace of mind which you cannot get from the market. Then that was a very huge donation for the public cause. Earlier also Rockefeller had done some donation, but that was a very huge donation for a public cause. Then in 1913, Rockefeller made this Rockefeller Foundation. And because of that Rockefeller Foundation, so many researches have been done. David Borlaug made a research on the drought-resistant wheat, which saved the millions of people from hunger. All this happened. And then Rockefeller says in autobiography, there is more to life than earning money. We have to live for others. He doesn't give the name of Swami Vivekananda, but he gives the ideas of Swami Vivekananda. We must live for others. Then only our life is blessed. So Vedanta says, you must try to practice 4 yogas, get happiness and peace inside. At the same time, reach out to the people who do not have peace of mind. So Swami Vivekananda says, long last you will understand that the best way to become happy is to see that others are happy, and the best way to get peace of mind is to pray for others' peace of mind. Vedanta solves our individual problem at the micro level and also solves the problem at the macro level. Thank you very much.